What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to Bruce and Stephanie Comics. My name is Bruce, and today is Thursday, September 22nd of 2022. And today's video is another comic book speculation recommendations video. The video where I take a look at this upcoming weekend's final order cutoff and next week's new comic book day and try to figure out what I think the best books to speculate on, so that way we can try to make this hobby fund itself. Now, I do want to say before I go any further, if you hear a little bit of a fan noise, it is hot as hell in this room. I always sweat during these videos, but it is really hot in here. So I have a fan on. I apologize for the noise, but I just wanted to let you guys know before I go any further. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump in to my 2 weekly reminders. Now, if you guys are seasoned speculators or you guys have seen this video series before, you guys can go ahead and skip this next part, which is going to be my 2 weekly reminders. That's 4 fingers, 2 weekly reminders. But if you guys are new to this video series or new to speculation, please stick around and hear my 2 weekly reminders. All right, guys, my first weekly reminder that I have for you guys every single week. It's easy to remember as long as you guys listen. The first one will be, you guys have to do your own research. Speculation is educated guesses. I am making some educated guesses on what I think is good speculation, but what I need you guys to do is go check out the comic book YouTubers you trust, other comic book websites you trust, and other comic book apps that you trust. Gather the most information possible so that way you guys can make the best decisions possible for yourself, because remember, you guys are spending your own hard-earned money on these books. Not my money, your money. And the second and final reminder that I have for you guys is that there are delays in comic books. So sometimes a book will show up week after week on final order cutoff, and the same thing on new comic book day spec, because the book's release date got moved for one reason or another. So I just want to let you guys know sometimes a book will show up multiple times in these videos. So that is my last and final reminder. Let's go ahead and dive in to final order cutoff speculation. Alright, guys, we're going to dive into final order cutoff speculation in just a second. But before we do that, if you guys are interested in purchasing any of the books that I'm about to talk about, you guys need to get your pre-orders in by September 25th for your DC, Scout, and Vault books, and September 26th for your Marvel and all the other indie publishers. Alright, guys, normally we dive into my cover lover picks next, but after going over all the books on final order cutoff, as of right now, there are no cover lover picks. Now, as these books get closer to the release date, a lot more of the ratio covers and exclusive covers will be released by that time, so I'm sure these books, when they're on new comic book day spec, will have more covers to talk about, but as of right now, no cover lover picks for this upcoming final order cutoff. So let's go ahead and dive right into final order cutoff speculation. Alright, guys, there are 6 books on final order cutoff that have speculation. I'm going to tell you guys about every single book, and at the end of that list, I will go over my final order cutoff spec pick or spec picks of the week. So let's go ahead and dive right in. The first book up is Deadly Class number 56. This is the final issue of that series. Next up is Dark Crisis Young Justice number 5 with the first appearance of Mickey Mixoplex, the son of Mr. Mixoplex. Next up is NCBD The Blue Wall number 1. This is a 6-issue limited series featuring Renee Montoya in the role of Commissioner of Gotham. Next up is Moon Knight Annual number 1. In the Darkhold, there is a prophecy of how a god might die, but to fulfill that prophecy requires the blood of the Fist of Khonshu, and Moon Knight doesn't bleed easily. Why is that speculation? I don't get it. Alright, next up is She-Hulk number 7, possible first appearance of new villains. Solicitations for number 8 reads, She-Hulk's new arch nemesis have finally shown their face. So we might get a tease to that arch nemesis, which is actual speculation. I really like that. Next up, in the final book that has speculation on final order cutoff, is Strange Academy Finals number 1. Now this is the start of the new volume of Strange Academy with the same creative team of Scotty Young and Humberto Ramos. Now those are all the books that have speculation. I'm going to go back over this list one more time and pick out my spec pick or spec picks of the week. Alright, guys, after going over that list one more time, which was actually a pretty short list, I have 2 books that I think you guys might want to consider. So let's go over those 2 books and my reasons why I think you guys might want to consider them. And the first book up is Deadly Class number 56, which is the final issue of this series, and that really is the main reason why. Now, normally final issues really aren't over-ordered, so this book will have a smaller print run, and also final issues usually do well in the future because new people get onto this series and they go back and they want want to pick up all the single issues, and with the lower print run, they're harder to find, which increases the overall value in that book. So that is the big reason why you should be picking this book up. It's the final issue, and final issues usually do well, especially with a book like Deadly Class, which is a more popular independent title. Now, the other book that I think you guys might want to consider is Strange Academy Finals #1. The main reason is because Strange Academy was such a popular series during the first run of that book, and I think this series is going to be just as popular. Now, the one caveat with that is that this series is already popular. When Strange Academy first came out, no one knew it was going to be as good as it was, or as awesome as it was, and so the book wasn't over-ordered. That's why the book went back to so many printings. Now, with this, the popularity is already there, but I think this book still will do well. It's not going to do anywhere as close to the first volume, but guys, do not sleep on this book. I think this book will do well on the secondary market in the future. Alright guys, those are my 2 books that I think you guys might want to consider from the 6 books on Final Order Cutoff that have speculation. Let's go ahead and dive into our new comic book day specs for September 28th of 2022. Alright guys, unlike Final Order Cutoff, New Comic Book Day does have a cover lover book. Now it's only 1 book, but this cover is absolutely gorgeous. So let's go ahead and dive into my cover lover pick for this upcoming New Comic Book Day. Alright guys, the one cover on New Comic Book Day that I think you guys might want to consider for speculation is Briar #1, the Stephanie Hans FOC Reveal variant. It is absolutely gorgeous. Stephanie Hans did such an amazing job on this cover, and I do think this book in general is going to do well on the secondary market because I think this is a great spec book. You guys will find out more about this book in just a minute, but guys, this is a gorgeous cover, and I think everyone who is chasing down Briar is going to want this cover for their collection. So that is my cover lover pick for this upcoming New Comic Book Day. Let's go ahead and dive into all the books that the Key Collector app says has speculation. Alright guys, the Key Collector app says there are 20 books that have speculation, so let's not waste any more time because there's a lot of books to cover in today's video. So let's dive right in. And the first book up is Marvel Voices Community #1. This is the designed variant done by Paco Medina featuring Chimera. Next up is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #100. This is the milestone 100th issue for Power Rangers, which is so cool. This also has the first appearance of a new character which has not been released yet. Next up is Pink Lemonade #1. Previously published independently through crowdfunding, Pink Lemonade is a motorcycle riding superhero starting out and finding her place in the world. Next up is Avengers X-Men Eternals Avengers #1. This is the first of 3 one-shots that tie into Avengers X-Men Eternals event. Next up is Flawed #1. A psychiatrist uses words to solve her patient's problems during the day, but at night takes a more deadly approach, which results in attracting the attention of an immortal serial killer. Whoa, immortal. Next up is Tim Drake Robin #1. The solicitation says a new villain, hounding Tim Drake from afar, decides to take things up close and personal. Next up is Harley Quinn #22, the variant cover by Ryan Sook. This cover art is inspired by Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns #1. Next up is DC Horror presents Sergeant Rock vs. the Army of the Dead #1. This is a crossover team up with Sergeant Rock and Ash from the Evil Dead franchise, written by Bruce Campbell. I am so excited for this book. I am a big fan of Evil Dead. If you guys have not seen that series on Starz, go check it out. It is awesome. Next up is Roadie #1. A former heavy metal roadie must return to the back roads of America to do a job that he thought he'd retire from, performing exorcisms. But this time, it is to save his daughter. Whoa. Next up is Briar #1, a brutal reimagining of the Sleeping Beauty fairy tale. So cool. So cool. And it's from Boom Studios, which is even better. Next up is Jin #1. After his master sets him free, a hard-drinking, foul-mouthed genie spirals into an existential crisis until he falls for a girl who gives him life and meaning. Next up is Batman The Audio Adventures #1. This is a 7-issue series continuing from the Batman Audio Adventure podcast. Next up is Batman Beyond The White Knight #5, the variant cover done by J. Scott Cable. Such a gorgeous cover. Next up is Batman Beyond The White Knight #5, the variant cover by Sean Gordon Murphy featuring Blight. Next up is Old Dog #1. This book is finally coming out. It has been on Final Order Cutoff and New Comic Books Day over and over. I don't know why it was delayed, but it was. So Old Dog #1. On the eve of retirement, looking back at a failed career, a former CIA operative is tasked with one final mission that goes horribly wrong. Next up is Miles Morales Spider-Man #42. This is an oversized issue. I don't know why it's an oversized issue, but they're saying it is, and that's speculation. So weird. Next up is Marvel Voices Community #1 with the first appearance of Chimera. Next up is Star Wars Dr. Aphra #24. The solicitation says Aphra delves deeper into the secrets of the Ascendant and the true origin of the Spark Eternal. Next up is Thor #27, a team up of Thor and Venom. The solicitation, Venom and Thor will battle alongside each other to combat a new threat to Earth. And the last book that has speculation on this upcoming new comic day is Thunderbolts #2, The Origin of Ergo the Unbreakable. Alright guys, those are all the books on New Comic Day that the Key Collector app says has speculation. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this list one more time and come back to you with my New Comic Day spec pick or spec picks of the week. Alright guys, just like Final Order Cutoff, there are two books that I think you guys might want to consider for speculation. So let's go ahead and go over those two books and why I think you guys might want to consider them. And the first book up is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #100. It's a huge milestone issue and there are some big Power Ranger fans out there. This is also the final issue that Ryan Perrot's writing of the book, so he's been on this book for a while and this is his final issue. It's an oversized issue. There's all kinds of amazing artists on this book, but there's also a new character being introduced in this book, which is another reason to pick this book up, especially if you're a Mighty Morphin's Power Ranger fan. Now, I am not a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan, but guys, there is a cover done by John Jang. It is absolutely fantastic. I believe this is probably showing off the new character, and it is gorgeous. And if I was going to go after this book, I would probably search out this cover right here, which most likely is an exclusive variant. Guys, if it is, I'll leave a note right here and also have a link down in the description below if it is an exclusive, so that way if you guys are interested, you guys can go pick it up. But guys, this is a cool book. It's a milestone issue. It has the first appearance of a new character. It's the final book from the writer and also a huge oversized issue to get excited about. Now, those are the reasons why you guys might want to consider it. Guys, let me know down in the comments below if you disagree and give me the reasons why you disagree. Alright guys, in the next book that I think you guys might want to consider for speculation is Briar #1. I think this is going to be a very popular book. There's been a little bit of buzz about it, but guys, think about the book Nottingham, which is a brutal reimagining of Robin Hood, the Robin Hood tale. This is going to be a brutal reimagining of Sleeping Beauty. And it's also done by Boom Studios. And Boom Studios, just think about the big books that they've had. Something is Killing the Children, Grimm, and other big titles. This is going to be a hit, I believe. And I think if you look at some of these covers, which are absolutely gorgeous, that's Stephanie Hans, there's Jenny Frison, and there's some other ones out there. Guys, I would not sleep on this book. I would go ahead and pick yourself up a copy or two or maybe 5, whatever your wallet can handle, and guys, just sit on this book and see how it does. Now, could I be wrong? Of course I could be wrong. And that is why I always tell you guys have to do your own research. Do your own research so that way you guys do not get burned by the knowledge that I'm giving you. Because guys, I am making some educating guesses on what I think is going to do well, and I think with Nottingham doing so well for so long, and with this publisher of Boom Studios being a bigger and better publisher, I think there's a great chance that this is going to be a very popular book. Alright guys, those are the two books that I think have speculation on next week's New Comic Day. Guys, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Alright guys, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Alright guys, it is the end of the video. It is time for me to thank you for watching this long in the video and to remind you that you guys are legends if you guys have made it this far. Now, I would love it if you guys took a minute and left a comment down below letting me know if you enjoyed today's video, if you agree with any of the spec that I spoke about in today's video, or if you think there is a book or 2 or 3 or 4 that I missed that you are personally speculating on. That would be such a huge help for me. It helps me become a better speculator, and that is what I want to do. I want to become a better speculator, so that way my videos are better every single week. So thank you guys so much. And guys, last but not least, if you guys are not subscribed, get yourself subscribed, hit that bell for notification, and smash that like button. Alright guys, you guys have yourself a fantastic weekend, and I'll catch you guys on Tuesday with my must-have pickups for next week's New Comic Book Day. And there might be a video in between, but most likely not, but we'll see. Alright guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.